Is ViacomCBS a buy? That is what we're here to answer. In my last video, someone recommended I look into Viacom. Now, if you have any stocks you want me to look into, feel free to drop them in the comments. Let's get started. In case you haven't heard of ViacomCBS, they're an entertainment company with an umbrella of properties like CBS, Paramount, Showtime, Pluto TV, Nickelodeon, MTV, and more. They have 36 million global subscribers and 50 million global monthly active users. Now we're going to talk about the pros versus the cons, we're going to talk about value versus growth, and we're going to talk about the past versus the future. So let's start with the pros. We're going to talk about the good, and the good really is strictly revolving around valuation when it comes to ViacomCBS. So first thing we're going to look at is the price to earnings. The S&P 500 is currently trading at a 45 PE. Disney trades at a 51.2, Discovery at 27.4, Netflix is 64.2, and Viacom only at 10.1 PE. So it's significantly cheaper in a price to earnings valuation than the competitors or the S&P 500. The next thing we look at is a forward PE. So for the next 12 months, Viacom's forward PE is 11.4. That is significantly better than the S&P 500 forward PE of 21.7, and it beats Disney and Netflix, the competitors that have a 37.2 and a 51.3 respectively. Now, Discovery is the only one that has a slightly better forward PE with 11.2, but then when you look at price to sales, Viacom's coming in with a 1.04, destroying the S&P, Disney, Netflix, and still beating Discovery with a 1.4, which is also, though, very impressive. So from a valuation standpoint, price to earnings, forward PE, and price to sales, Viacom seems extremely cheap. So what about growth? We're going to take a look at its most recent earnings to get a better idea of where the company year-over-year's revenue is moving. So the first thing we're going to look at is from Q4 20 to Q1 21. We had a 6 million increase in global streaming subscribers from 29.9 million to 35.9 million. And for Pluto TV's monthly active users, in the last quarter, it increased 6.4 million monthly active users. The next thing we look at is the global streaming revenue. So from Q1 2020 to Q1 2021, so a year's time, we had a 65% increase in streaming revenue from 494 million to 816 million. So huge growth in revenue. Then we're going to look at the revenue increasing growth in advertising, affiliate, licensing, and other. So in advertising, there was 21% year-over-year growth, but there wasn't that much in affiliate and licensing, only 5% and 11% respectively. Then we're going to look at a breakdown of their revenue and see how it comes in. So if you look here at this chart, you can tell that advertising is the overwhelming majority of revenue at 2.68 billion. Affiliate comes in about 2 billion, streaming 816 million. But the thing is, streaming has 65% year-over-year growth. So we definitely can project that the future revenue is going to come a lot more from streaming, with advertising always playing a major role as well. Now, if we look here, this is assets and liabilities. We always want to make sure that there's more assets than liabilities. And in this case, there is. The current assets are greater than the current liabilities, and the total assets are greater than the total liabilities. So after looking at the pros, we need to take a look into the cons. The first thing I think about is that the future is definitely all about streaming. Now, Viacom knows this, and they created Paramount Plus to deal with the streaming landscape. As you can see here in their earnings letter, they were showing how it targets kids, news and documentaries, sports, unscripted, scripted, and movies. They clearly want to show that they have a content strategy for every consumer. They even really want to reinforce the idea that they have content for everyone by adding an additional slide that shows that they have sports, news and documentaries, and kids following the last slide in this earnings report. Unfortunately, though, they are not the leader when it comes to streaming, and that's something that can't be overlooked. So over here we can see that Disney has 159 million subscribers between Disney, Hulu, ESPN+. Netflix has 207 million subscribers, and HBO Max has 64 million subscribers. Viacom only has 36 million subscribers. So although this is a new disruptive category of streaming and everyone still has a chance, I find it hard to believe that Viacom will catch up. So you need to ask yourself, How many services will the average person subscribe to? Do you believe it's a winner-take-most market, or do you believe there's room for many subscriptions? And do you see yourself subscribing to Paramount Plus? So on one hand, Viacom is cheap. The numbers don't lie. But on the other hand, I don't see myself subscribing to its services. And if I don't believe in the product, how can I believe in the future of the company? Now, if we look at the stock price, it had a 52-week high of $101.97. It had a 52-week low of $21.67. Currently, it's trading 54% below its 52-week high at about $46 a share. So I actually think it is a buy under $50 a share. I do like the stock at this low valuation. Now, if we look at tip ranks, there are 19 analyst ratings on this stock, and 8 of them are buys, 8 of them are holds, and only 3 of them are sells. And the average price target is $51.22, which is 11% upside over the next year. But the range is from a $33 price target up to an $80 price target. So I do have a buy rating currently, but I do want to stress that streaming is disrupting media. So although I'm buying, I'm going to be watching the earnings to make sure nothing goes south. If in any future earning reports, the subscriber numbers start to fall, or anything isn't looking as I'd like it to look, I'm going to sell just as fast as I'm currently going to buy. So this is something to keep in mind. This is a stock that is trading for a cheap valuation, but you need to understand that the competition is real, so you have to be ready to change your mind if the thesis no longer fits. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This is a new YouTube channel, so your support is extremely, extremely appreciated. Thank you.